Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that can be played in 20 minutes or less, and these are my top 10 Easter games. They are thematically spot on for Easter and easy to learn and play, so let's get started. First up, we have the Bluey, Keepy, Uppy game, and we have 3 different Bluey games, and this is by far the best one. And it has balloons as a theme. Balloons are festive, and every preschool loves Bluey, so we're going with that for an Easter game. And what's amazing about this game is that you really don't have to read any instructions for people to be able to play this game. You just have, there's the dad with a leaf blower blowing a balloon up in the air, and there's a motor and it's going around, and you just have, you have to tap on your side every time it's going to come down on your side. The balloon, you're tapping it, you're keeping it up in the air, and if it hits your tokens, then one of the balloons goes pop. It's a pop token, and it goes down, and you're trying to be the last one with any of your tokens left. So it's just really simple. It's easy to put together. You turn it on and it goes, and you just tap to keep it up in the air. Super easy. And there are a couple older versions of this game that have different themes that this is based off of. There's Loopin' Louie is the original. It's an old-timey pilot, and the tokens are chickens that you're trying to not have it hit. And then the next version was Loopin' Chewie, which was Chewbacca up in a stormtrooper in the Millennium Falcon, and you're trying not to hit stormtrooper tokens. And those are both out of print, but you can find used copies out there. So if you have a Star Wars fan, it is an option. But just Bluey is, and I have a preschooler. She loves Bluey. I love Bluey. So this is a theme that every small child will be very excited about. Next up, we have Hoppy Floppy's Happy Hunt, which is the bunny Easter-themed version of the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel, which is a very popular preschool game. And this has essentially the same idea for it, where you have carrots and you're trying to collect one of each color of carrot first. And you have really fun bunny grabber to pick up the carrots and put them into your little basket. This is great for fine motor skills, which matters a lot for preschool age level. And this is one of those games that is just so quick to pick up. You just do what the spinner says. You're trying to get all the carrots. Super easy. The one thing, we have a little bit of a hard time sometimes with the stealing spot that you can land on the spinner, which if that is tough for your household, it's easy to just respin if that happens, or have an alternate rule where you just run around the group once and sit back down. Something fun. So that's easy to adjust if it's tough for your household. But this is one of those games where it's so fun. It's both toy and game. We got this out a couple months ago, and my daughter was excited to play it. A friend came over. They played it for a play date, and they played about 90% of the way through the game. And then they just played with it as toys afterwards, which is perfect because as long as it's getting used, then I'm pretty happy. Next up, we have Hurry Up Chicken Butt, which, as much as I don't particularly love the name, I think it just makes my children love it that much more to get to say, let's go play the chicken butt game. And it's wonderful because it's a better version of hot potato. In regular hot potato, you're just passing the item around and hoping it doesn't end up on you. This, you have fun activities you're doing as you're passing around a plastic chicken that is clucking softly, and it has a die inside. It's very exciting and fun to get to roll the die inside of this plastic chicken. And depending on what color the die goes on, you have to do a corresponding activity. So it can be something like having to prance like a pony around the circle, or you can roll pink, and that means you have to go and slap the chicken butt card that was somewhere nearby where you're playing this, and then run back to the group and hand on the plastic chicken to the next person. And and then activities like giving everybody a new name. It's just fun, cute things that you're getting to do. So win or lose, you've had a really fun time. And the games are really quick. You just go until the timer goes off, and it's not particularly long. It varies. It's never the exact same amount of time. And so it's really quick, and a lot of times we play until everybody's had a chance to win at least once. And this is one of those games that my older daughter, who's 10, has a friend that whenever she comes over, she asks to play this game while she's at our house. and she's in 5th grade. I took this to a 5th grade Girl Scout camp out, and this was one of the games. They were really excited and had a lot of fun playing. So it has some good staying power. It's for ages 4 and up, and 4-year-olds can play it and enjoy it, but you will get good use out of this for years and years. Next up, we have Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza Easter Edition. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza is a very popular speed game that 100% of people who like speed games like Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. It is super fun, and it is worth getting the Easter version even if you have the regular version because it is so cheap. It's just a little deck of cards. It's portable. It's easy to fit in an Easter basket, and it's fun to play a themed version of the game. They've made it so all of the cards are specialized for Easter. There's eggs involved. It's colorful and pastel. And what you're trying to do for the game is to be the first to run out of all of your cards. And how gameplay works is you just say the name of the game over and over as you play. The first person goes and they flip out a card and they say taco. Then the next person flips out a card and says cat. Then goat, cheese, pizza, and you keep on going around doing that. And the trick is, if the word you're saying matches the card that you played, then everybody races to slap, and whoever was the last to slap has to collect all of the cards and add them to their pile. So as long as you weren't always getting last place, you're gonna feel like you're doing okay at this game, which is nice. It's just fun, it's positive. They have some really fun specialty cards, which they changed up for the Easter version. Now there is a bunny-eared gorilla, chick costume narwhal, and an egg collecting groundhog. So it's super cute. A lot of kids know how to play this one already, and it will be well loved. Next up, we have Hoppy Salmon, which is the Easter version of Happy Salmon. It's like a speed social game in which you're trying to be the first one to perform all the actions in your deck of cards and get rid of all of them first. And what you do is, for each action, you have to find a buddy to do it with you. So this is a loud, active, busy, fun game that goes really quick. On the back of the box, it says this plays in 90 seconds. And it really is that fast if you've got a group that is on it. And what you're trying to do is you have a card and you're just yelling out for somebody else who has to do it. So it can be where you have to do a high five. You say high five, high five, high five. You find somebody else that also needs to do high five. You high five, put down that card, and you go on to the next one. And so you're doing high fives, fish bumps. Where are you? Fish bumps. And then you get to do a happy salmon, and you find somebody and you slap. It's like tail slapping for fish. You gently pat each other's forearms. And they've added in a couple specialty actions for the Easter version. You get to do a salmon egg spin around, which is just cute, fun, active. So this is so fun, especially with kids. It is so quick to play and very easy to learn. Next up, we have Hive, which is both for kids up through adults. In this game, it's an abstract game where you are placing tiles and you are creating one hive of all these different types of insects and bugs, and you are trying to trap your opponent's queen bee before they trap yours. And you're placing creatures like grasshoppers, spiders, beetles, and as you're placing, you place them out there, and then once they're out there, they can do some specialty movements. So grasshopper can hop across as far as it wants in a straight line, and a spider twists around 3 times to move. The beetle can climb up on top of the hive and trap another person's tile underneath it, but then it also can move around up there, which is really neat. And if this sounds kind of similar to another game, this gets compared to chess a lot, but a lot of people who don't particularly love chess really like this game, including myself. I'm not great at chess. I love Hive. Hive has a different kind of gameplay. In this, you are placing pieces, you are maneuvering pieces. Pieces are never captured in this game. So it feels to me like a more positive experience because if somebody else wins, you just got outmaneuvered. They didn't just trap all of your pieces and leave you with nothing and then take out your king. It's a very different kind of experience. And this is incredibly portable. This is one of those games that people take to restaurants, on an airplane, to the pool, to the beach. It's extremely portable, and there are some expansions out there too. If you get really into it, you can get ladybug, mosquitoes, so there's a lot you can do with this wonderful game. Next up, we have Deduckto, which feels like a whodunit game to me, but all you're trying to do is guess the 3 features of your secret character, which is a card you're holding up facing everybody else and you can't see it. And then you're holding a bunch of other cards in your hands and you're able to use those to place down one every time it's your turn. And all everybody else has to tell you is yes or no. If it has any features that matches what you're holding in your card, that you're trying to figure out first before everybody else. And it can be tricky because you'll have like a cat with sunglasses in a library and you'll place down a card and they'll say yes, but that card has 3 different things on it. So if it's a cat in the mountains with whiskers or with a mustache, you're trying to figure out which of those 3 are the thing that matches what you have. So it's nice, it's puzzly, it's pleasantly tricky to figure out what your character is, but it isn't anything really hard. Kids can do well, but you aren't bored as an adult playing this game. So it's just a nice little card game with a whodunit feel that is just so quick and easy to play. Next up, we have Similo. This is another nice little card game, and it is cooperative, and you are trying to help people guess the secret card in this game. And what's great about this too is there are a bunch of different versions of this game. If you want a different theme, you can do animals, wild animals, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, myths, fables, and history. So there's a bunch of different options, but the basics of the game are you have one card and the clue giver knows what that card is, and it's placed face up with 11 other cards in front of everybody so everybody can see it, and they're using the cards from their hand that are from the same deck, and they're showing if it's like the item that they're trying to get them to guess or not like the item. So you're not supposed to say anything, but if it's a cat that you're trying to get them to guess, then they might put down a beaver or something. Maybe it's a small mammal, it's close enough to like a cat, so they'll put it down as a clue that's vertical, so it's like that, and so they remove other things like a bear or a horse, and then they can place a snake horizontally, which means it's not like that, so they would remove any reptiles or amphibians, and you're trying to get it down to the one correct card. It's very exciting when you do so, and I highly recommend starting with one of the animal decks with kids. They just seem to be more successful with that one. Next up, we have Bloom, which is a family level dice game, kind of with the same general feel as Quicks, which is another very popular game. But the theme is flowers, it's nice and spring themed, and the strategy is a little bit different. Everybody has their own board, which is different. They have different letters on them, so you're not working with the exact same thing, and you roll dice and it's color coded. If you select the pink die and it has a 5 on it, you are supposed to circle that many pink flowers, and they all have to be right next to each other. So there's an art to doing this. You get bonuses for being the first to close out or have circled all of a certain color on your board. You get a bonus you get points for being the first for closing out flower beds, which is the rectangles that have different colored flowers within. So there's an art to managing which die you're selecting, where you're circling the flowers, and you also have to watch out for unhappy customers because you're making bouquets for customers, and if you select a 6 purple and circle, but you're only able to circle 4 flowers that are purple that are all connected to each other, then you take 2 negative points for unhappy customers, which is a big deal in this game. That's actually a fair amount of points. So it's nice. There's a little bit to manage, but it's all pretty easy to understand the basics of the game, and it is just perfect and great for the whole family. And finally, we have That's Not a Hat, which is perhaps the least Easter themed of the games on this list, but it's in a bright pink, very small box that's easy to stick into an Easter basket. So we're saying that's good enough. And it is a social game that is good with groups, so it's perfect to play on Easter with family. And it's amazing because this game doesn't require any reading, and it doesn't require, there's no language requirements. So if you're playing this with, you want to give this to somebody who speaks Spanish or another language, it works just fine because it's just pictures on the cards. And all you're trying to do is remember the one card that's in front of you for this game, which seems easy enough, but the cards keep on moving around. So you either have to remember or bluff a little bit if you don't quite remember what's in front of you. And so you'll start out where the cards start out face up, but eventually they're all face down. And it's a game of giving gifts. And so somebody gives you a card and they say, okay, here you go. This is a hat. And you say, thank you for the hat. And then you pass on your other card and you say, here is some cheese. And you pass it to the person next to you. Well, they might have a different direction on their other card. So they're passing a card back to you and they say, this is the ladder. And you say, thank you for the ladder. And you have to remember what your other card was or bluff as you're passing it around. So it just kind of turns into a little bit of a jumble, but it's fun. It's lighthearted. I'm not particularly great at memory games or bluffing, and I have an absolute blast playing this game. It is just a hoot. So this is a nice option for with a big group, with family. Everyone will have a fun time playing this. So that's it for my top 10 Easter themed games. Hopefully you found a game or two that you're excited to play around Easter or to put in an Easter basket. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.